Now, it's been a very slow start to the season for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. 9 games in, they've just had the single victory, and their little halfback, Kyle Flanagan, who was benched on the weekend, dropped this afternoon, is really starting to feel the strain.
So good again. When you get hooked big games, never a pleasant feeling.
No, it's not. But as I said, I got to look at it in the right way as a team player, and I wasn't happy about it. But this team needs to win footy games, and that's how I looked at it.
Your dad's always been a good sounding board. What's his advice back to you?
He's been he's been a major part of my career, and having him at home is pretty special.
His advice, the highs and lows, will take it with you, doesn't he, Kyle?
Yeah, for sure. I think he takes his footy hat off and sometimes just gives me advice as a son, and to always have good going home to him. Obviously, what's happened the last 2 years, I just want to prove to people that I'm a good footy player, and I've obviously got the football family, and just as you mentioned, the old man and the family, I'm quite a family-driven person, so that's what will make them proud.
So having watched him play this year and seeing what happened to young Kyle Flanagan in that press conference, what's your assessment, PK?
The pressure's just mounted on him week after week, and I don't think he's got the support around him that he needs. I think the club should have handled him better this week, particularly given only an hour or so after that press conference they released the team that showed he'd been sacked. So I really felt for him. I felt really sorry for him.
You think it was poorly handled by the Dogs?
It's shocking, mate. The club should be embarrassed. Kyle shouldn't be embarrassed. Like, they hooked him on the weekend. They've made the decision that they're going to drop him. Yep, they've got the right to do that. But it's also their job to protect him.
Their job today was to protect him.
And I'll tell you now, I don't care if it's Adam Reynolds or Daly Cherry Evans, throw any halfback you want into that side. They're not going to fix the Bulldogs' problems. The problems at the Bulldogs is not Kyle Flanagan's doing.
Well, Cody Walker didn't do a press conference yesterday because he wasn't up for media. Didn't want to do it. I can't imagine he was in a worse place than Kyle Flanagan was today. And Kyle Flanagan, I'm with you guys. I think it was hard to watch that. I feel really sorry for the kid because we talk about young kids in the game these days and how much pressure they're under, and the effect it can have on them. And there you got a kid who's carrying the weight of a club on his shoulders, and you can see how it's affected him. And I agree. I don't think he should have been doing media today. As much as we would have complained about it as journalists, because we all asked to speak to him after the game on Sunday, and Kyle didn't want to do it then. Obviously his frame of mind hasn't improved since, and if the club pulled him, I could have understood why.
Today really came about because today was supposed to be their open day, which every month the every NRL club's supposed to open up to the whole squad, and so with the squad available today, the requests were put out, who do you want? And everyone obviously said, well, can I get Kyle? Yeah. So at that point they said, you know what, we might as well just put him up. But that should have told someone there to hang on. At the very least, sit down and have a talk to him and get his frame of mind and an understanding of where he's at and if he's able to handle it. He might have got up today and in a slightly more positive frame of mind, been able to handle it and just put his version out, and everyone walks away going, well done, well handled, and off they go. But he clearly is not at that stage. And someone at the club, and for all the bullshit you get about welfare at clubs and that, to drop the ball like they have with this kid today is really, really tough on him, and it's embarrassing for the club. And someone there at the club needs to actually sit there and answer a few questions.
So would it be fair to say that, in football terms, if the Bulldogs don't start to improve as a team, then this young bloke isn't much of a chance of improving himself? Because it's not as though Trent Barrett has taken over a Dean Pay coach side and all of a sudden has changed things and we're seeing positive signs. I mean, you said it, Paul Crawley, that this club is struggling. This team is not playing well. It's not just the halfback.
Across the board, Ben, Corey Allen last year from South went in and played State of Origin at the end of the year. Did he have 1 or 2 games at fullback? And they shifted him. They brought Nick Meaney to the club to play fullback. Dallin Watini-Zalesniak's back there this week. He was brought there. He's on 800,000, is he? to
He's on good
play
money.
fullback,
He's
play
on
winger.
100. He's
Like
on good money, yeah.
Kotrick at Canberra was state of origin contender, and he's been trying his guts out this year, but he's not the player he was. And I'm telling you now, Addo-Carr will go there next year, and he's not going to have the same opportunities that presented to him at Melbourne at the Bulldogs. Like, if I was a player, I'll tell you what, you wouldn't go and trust your career at that joint. We give the Tigers a hard time all the time. The Bulldogs are a basket
They've got
case.
a lot of players. I mean, I think Trent said on the weekend they had 50% of their salary cap on the sideline. They've got a lot of players out at the moment, which doesn't help his cause. But you're right, a lot of guys have gone there and gone backwards. I mean, I don't think they're with it. You know, I think next year he gets Matt Burton there, who we see as a really good football player, and that's going to help him immensely because he's going to have someone to share the work, the playmaking with him. He gets Addo-Carr. You know, they're in the market for some more signings. You know, I think they're heading in the right direction. I know we're not seeing it at the moment, but I think the people there in Trent, they're making some smart buys. And I think that's going to take some pressure off him next year, but I don't know what they do with him the rest of this year.
I'd argue that, Reedy. Last year, towards the end of the year, we started to see the Bulldogs have an identity in their style of play under Dean Pay, and you could start to see where it was all going. It was obviously too late for Dean Pay. But this year, like, Dean Pay must be sitting there going, well, hang on, you sacked me.
Particularly the year before was when they win like it was 10 out of their last 12 games in 2019 going into that 2020 season. And then on the pre-season trip, they had the dramas with Corey Harawira-Naira and Jaden Ockenball.
Yeah.
And it all went south for Dean Pay after that.
Yeah.
But I actually, at the end of that season, there was great hope for the Bulldogs. They're not where they were then.
Yeah, and Matt Burton is a good young player, but I tell you what, there's going to be huge expectations on him. They are expecting the world when he arrives.
Ben, way back when the Newcastle Knights got off the ground, Alan McMahon came in as the inaugural head coach, and knowing he didn't have the capacity to just go and cherry pick the best of teams, he came up with a philosophy where he wanted toughness in his leaders, and he wanted players with plenty of tomorrow, so he didn't want guys at the end of their career. But the Knights went out and just picked tough guys and men who are leaders in their actions, and that's where the Bulldogs have got to start. Like, it's one thing getting all these young kids coming in, but if they're coming into a culture where they haven't got men leading them, and they're not tough, and they're not, because there's no way you survive this Canterbury team if you don't have some resiliency inside you.
And the only thing I'll say on that is that there's arguably probably no one tougher in the competition than Josh Jackson, as a leader. And I was only thinking about it the other day, you know, if Josh Jackson would have done what Dale Finucane did and go to Melbourne, where would he be today?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you talk about sliding door moments in careers.
Yeah.
But I will say, I reckon I could go to Melbourne now and get close to winning a Dally M, the way they're going, their development system.